What's up everyone and welcome back to another video. So as you probably know by now, for a lot of people in Fortnite, piece control is not only difficult to understand but difficult to do. A lot of people hear all this stuff about piece control and why it's so important, but they don't actually know how to do it and don't know how to approach practicing it. And that's why in today's video I'll be showing you exactly how to do just that. I'll be showing you how to practice and improve your piece control dramatically in Fortnite Chapter 4 Season 2. Before we get into it, if you go on to enjoy this video, then be sure to drop a like on it. As well as that, if you're new to the channel, I make tons of Fortnite tips and tricks videos just like this, so if you want to see more of it, be sure to hit that subscribe button as well. And finally guys, if you want to show some extra support, then consider using code TECHO in the item shop. It's 100% free for you and only takes like 5 seconds to type in, and it seriously does help me out a bunch. As always, a massive thank you to everyone who uses it. But with all that said, and without further ado, let's get into today's video. So what I want to start off with is the basics of piece control. What I want to begin by doing is just giving you guys kind of the definition of piece control and explaining why it's so important. If you want to get straight into the practice methods, then you can skip to the timestamp on screen, but I recommend you go through this just so you have a good idea as to what we're talking about. So piece control is a very simple concept. Piece control literally means controlling the fight using your build pieces. It's a very simple concept. Basically, you're just using your builds to control the interactions between you and your opponent. For example, this could be trying to box them up, trying to block them off, or anything like that. The reason that piece control is so important is one, because it allows you to control fights. It allows you to counter tons of different plays, and it allows you to secure easy kills sometimes just by boxing someone up. The ultimate goal with piece control is to get your opponent entirely boxed up, stuck in your build, so you can just get an easy peek and win the fight. Obviously, that's not going to happen every single time, but piece control also occurs on smaller levels. For example, just getting a good edit on your opponent means that you have the piece control to get that edit. So really, our ultimate goal with piece control is just to put ourselves at an advantage. So with that in mind, now that we've gone over what piece control actually is, hopefully that helped you guys out. And for the rest of the video, I'm going to be going over 4 different practice methods I recommend you guys use for piece control. These are going to be practice methods for beginners, intermediate players, and advanced players, so no matter who you are, these should help you out. And getting into our first one, this is going to be an absolute classic map, which is Raiders Piece Control Map V3. Raiders Piece Control Map V3 is one of the classic piece control maps in Fortnite. It has over 25 different piece control scenarios for all skill levels. If you're more of a beginner, then there is a specific beginner section, or there's regular scenarios for intermediate to advanced players. What each scenario has is basically instructions on how to do it, and then you're supposed to go in and over again, you're going to have the same scenario where you box up your opponent and get the shot off. Some of them are going to be like boxing people on ramps, boxing people to the side, and all sorts of stuff like that. Basically, it's a huge variety. As you can see on screen, there's a ton of different scenarios you can do. Another really cool section of the map is the piece control tunnels. These are basically massive tunnels that you're supposed to build and edit through, and they sort of replicate the mechanical moves you would use in piece control techniques. Now, especially if you're just starting off, you may want to go a little bit slow in the piece control tunnels, just because there's kind of a lot of different patterns and whatnot that you kind of have to get through. But as you do them more, as you get used to them, they're going to help you an absolute ton with piece control. Just think of it like this: piece control tunnels are basically mechanical practice that carries over to piece control, and then the actual scenarios are the actual techniques. Overall though, Raiders map is a fantastic way to learn some of the fundamentals of piece control and learn some good techniques. So I'll go ahead and put up the code on screen for you guys right now. Getting into our second map for today's video though, and this one is going to be Titos Realistic Edit / Piece Control Map V4. I know that's a mouthful. This map is a similar concept to Raiders. You have a target, you piece it up, and you shoot. This map is a little bit different from Raiders map because it's split into beginner and advanced and has different scenarios. So basically there's editing and piece control, 2 different sections, and each of those sections is split into 2, beginner and advanced. As I alluded to right there, it also does have editing sections, both beginner and advanced, which help you learn kind of the editing patterns that you're going to use in piece control. So if you feel like there's any specific edits in piece control that you just can't do properly, then the editing section should help you out a lot with that. And of course, the piece control section is going to be similar to Raiders. It doesn't have the infinite scenarios like Raiders has, but it has an absolute ton of scenarios regardless, and a lot of them are actually different from the ones you'll see in Raiders. So overall, these 2 maps are fairly similar to one another, but they work super well in conjunction. Combined together, they have a huge variety of scenarios, a bunch of editing practice, piece control tunnels, and more. As well as that, Titos Map also does have some other features in game modes, but I'm not going to mention those just because they're not piece control. But if you do check it out, then you can feel free to try out those as well. But with that in mind, guys, I'll go ahead and put up the code to Titos Map right now. Getting into our third practice method for this video though, and this one is going to be a slightly less common one, which is piece control free builds. A piece control free build is something that was popularized by Raider464 I think around 2 years ago, and I think a lot of players have actually forgotten about it despite it being a really cool practice method. This is basically a free build map where you build randomly, except it's filled with build pieces and targets, so your goal is ultimately to piece control around them. Once you learn the actual moves from the 2 maps that we've already gone over, one way to practice them is to do these, and that's because they allow you to practice these moves in a low pressure environment. So in essence, this helps you apply some of the fundamentals of piece control into a very low pressure environment since it's entirely single player, and it can help you to build some super useful muscle memory. Basically, it's just a way to refine your mechanics and kind of get used to some of the techniques that you've already learned. The way I recommend doing this is going to be another Raider 464 map, which is his Peace Control free build map. I'll go ahead and put the code up on screen to that right now. This map is absolutely fantastic. You basically spawn in, you get a gun, and you just start Peace Control free building. Now, I would not recommend you do this until you've kind of got a decent grasp of Peace Control and done a few techniques at least. Your main priorities are going to be the first two maps that we've gone over, but this can be an absolutely fantastic supplement to those. That's assuming that you already know how to do the basic techniques and whatnot. But with that in mind, Peace Control free builds are absolutely fantastic, and I definitely recommend you give them a shot. Finally, guys, getting into the last practice method for today's video, and this is going to be Peace Control 1v1s. Something that happens very commonly is people spend time learning Peace Control moves, but they actually struggle to apply them in real fights. And I'm sure that's actually the reason why a lot of you guys are watching this video, not because you don't know how to Peace Control, but because you can't apply it. And these Peace Control 1v1s are actually a great way to learn how to apply these techniques. All you got to do is hop into any 1v1 map with a friend, and basically, instead of doing a normal 1v1 like you regularly would, you actually don't want to grab any weapons. In this 1v1, both of your goals are the same: full piece the other player. There's no guns, there's no shooting. All you want to do is find the best Peace Control opportunities to box up the other player. And ultimately, the winner of this 1v1 is the person who manages to full box the other player first. Now, this is one of my all-time favorite methods for Peace Control practice, partially because I'm pretty sure I'm the only one that's come up with this. But what this does is it basically forces you to focus on the Peace Control aspect rather than the fight as a whole. The problem is that in a regular fight, let's say you go into 1v1s to practice Peace Control, it's very hard to actually practice it because of the fast-paced nature of what you're doing. Since your goal is to kill your opponent and your opponent's trying to kill you at the same time, it's going to be very, very hard to kind of slip in some extra techniques that you just learned. So in essence, if you're not already familiar with Peace Control, it's going to be very hard for you to apply it in a regular 1v1. But Peace Control 1v1s, on the other hand, shift the focus away from the kill and more towards the Peace Control aspect, so both players are actually able to focus on their Peace Control and nothing else. This aspect of Peace Control 1v1s is incredibly helpful, and it's something that definitely should not be overlooked. Also, guys, just as a quick note, if you do need somebody to do these with, then you can feel free to check out my Discord server, which is going to be linked down in the description. In the Discord server, we have tons of looking for group channels for each region. All you got to do is select your region, go to the looking for group chat for your region, and you can find people to Peace Control 1v1. You can even find people for arena, tournaments, or whatever else. So once again, guys, just a quick little plug. If you guys want to check out the Discord server, then it's going to be linked down below. Overall, though, Peace Control 1v1s are absolutely fantastic and have definitely been one of my favorite ways to practice Peace Control. And just to clarify, there's no specific map that you need for Peace Control 1v1s. It's literally just a regular build fight 1v1 map. So hopefully by doing these, as well as the other Peace Control practice, you should be able to improve an absolute ton. But with all that said, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's video on how to improve your Peace Control dramatically in Fortnite Chapter 4 Season 2. Overall, by using the 4 different methods we've covered in this video, and doing them on a consistent basis, you should find yourself being able to Peace Control much more effectively, and being able to actually carry it into real fights. It does take quite a while to get good with Peace Control, but hopefully with these practice methods, you should be able to do it relatively quickly. If you found this video helpful, then be sure to drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel and you want to see more content just like this in the future, then be sure to hit that subscribe button as well. And finally, guys, if you want to show some extra support, as always, it's massively appreciated if you could use code TECHO in the item shop. It's 100% free for you always, and it helps me out an absolute ton. So as always, a massive thank you to everyone who uses it. You guys are awesome. And finally, guys, let me know down in the comments what you guys want to see next on the channel. I'm always looking for new video ideas, and if you come up with something cool, then I'll probably end up posting a video on it. But with all that said, guys, thank you all for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.